This is Bangarang Radio, a podcast network. For more shows, visit bangarangradio.com.
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bangarang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.
You're listening to Pop Punkin' Pizza on Bangarang Radio.
All right. Hello to Pop Punkin' Pizza episode 18. I'm Jacques Lamour, your host. Looking a little different today. I just got out of work, and I was like, I need to bust out this episode here real quick. But thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I really appreciate it. So there's no special guests on the show today because last week I got so excited about Goldfinger releasing a new single and announcing that they're going to release a new album that I was like, you know what? We're just going to do a whole episode all about Goldfinger's brand new single and album. Now, this isn't going to be a long episode, obviously. We're just going to kind of cover the logistics and also just what we know so far about the brand new album. So let's get into that today. Goldfinger's first album in 9 years. Their last album was called Hello Destiny, and that came out in April of 2008. Now, the new album is called The Knife, featuring the single Put the Knife Away, and that's going to be out July 21st through Rise Records. You can pre-order that. There's a bunch of cool pre-order bundles. If you go to goldfinger.merchnow.com, excuse me. I'll pull up a little. Here's a little, if you're watching the video version of this, I should say, here's the picture of the pre-order, what the album cover looks like, the date, and yes, you can see goldfinger.merchnow.com. So, like I said, what do we know about this brand new single called Put the Knife Away, and also the album The Knife? Well, so far we know John Feldmann is the only original member on this new album. People are upset about that. I, for one, I'm not upset about it, but I'm kind of neutral about it. I'm just happy that Goldfinger is releasing a new album, whether it's just John Feldmann and a bunch of other guys or not. And the other guys he has on the crew are amazing because there are a ton of superstars on this record to make up for not having the original members. So Goldfinger currently consists of Mike Herrera of MXPX. You got Phil Sneed of Story of the Year on lead guitar. Mike Herrera is playing bass. And then you got various drummers when they play live, including Cyrus of Newfound Glory. He's played a lot of their live shows recently. Travis Barker has actually also played with them as well. So it just kind of depends when and where the shows are going to take place. As far as the new record, who's going to be featured on the recordings itself, Travis Barker is on drums, but also we got 21 Pilots' Josh Dunn on drums. Super excited about that one as well. OK Rocks, and I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I'm guessing it's Japanese. Takiro Moshio? I don't even know. I'm embarrassed even trying to pronounce his name, and I didn't have time to look up the pronunciation before I did this show. And then we have guest vocals from Blink-182's Mark Hoppus and also 311's Nick Hexum. And so all this is coming from Alternative Press, by the way. Alternative Press put out an article last week talking about this brand new record, and this is exactly what John Feldmann said in the article. He said, "I took my time making this record, 9 years to be exact. I feel like I've made the most concise Goldfinger record in my career. We have all Goldfinger styles together as one." Talking about Zach Serafini, who mixed the Blink-182 record, is also the one who mixed this new Goldfinger album. And he said, Travis Barker on drums. I couldn't be more proud of an album. Makes me even more excited to listen to the whole thing because, first of all, The Knife, or Put the Knife Away, the first single that they released from The Knife, it gets confusing talking about all these knives because the single has the word knife in it and the album has the word knife in it, so it gets a little confusing, but I am just super stoked to hear this whole album, especially since John Feldmann is so excited about it. So let's go ahead and let's listen to The Knife, or Put the Knife Away, right now here on Pop Punkin' Pizza on bangarangradio.com. I'm absolutely in love with this song. If you haven't heard it yet, please give it a listen right now, and I would love to hear what you think. So here we go. Okay, so that is Put the Knife Away by Goldfinger here at Pop Punkin' Pizza on bangarangradio.com. That is from their brand new record that is dropping in July. On July 21st, the record is called The Knife. So there's a lot of knives being thrown around on this record. Now, I fell in love with the song the minute I heard it. Just my personal thoughts on it and some of the things I'm reading online. I'm reading a ton of comments online that say, Put the Knife Away sounds like another Blink-182 song off of California. Obviously, we have similarities here because John Feldmann is the one who wrote or helped write and helped produce Blink-182's California, so there's obviously going to be similarities. And some people are really upset about this. They're like, well, John Feldmann should write all of Blink-182 songs, and this Goldfinger album is just a bunch of Blink-182. I don't really like it, kind of thing. I agree. There's similarities, but also I feel like John Feldmann on his own is an amazing songwriter. Not to knock any of the songwriters in Blink-182, Mark or Travis or even Matt. Not to mock their songwriting capabilities, but I think John on his own does an amazing job. I really liked their last record that came out in 2008, Hello Destiny, and I just feel like John's songwriting gets better and better over the years. And also, talking about this Blink-182 Goldfinger similarity, the way people have been bringing it up this last week ever since Goldfinger put out this new single. They're making it seem like this is a brand new thing. Like all of a sudden Goldfinger is copying Blink-182, vice versa. Honestly, they've been compared for quite a few years now. This is something that's been going on for a while. I remember about 10 years ago, I was in my car playing Goldfinger's Open Your Eyes album for one of my friends that was in my car, and she's listening to it. She's like, is this Blink-182? Which record is this? Or which song is this? I've never heard this one before. And I'm like, and I never thought Open Your Eyes, the Goldfinger album, I never thought it sounded like Blink-182. I kept thinking to myself, really? You think this is Blink-182? Like, I always thought it was strange. But obviously other people hear otherwise. They think, oh, this is Blink-182. But it's, it's just, I just think it's something that's been going on for years. There's obviously similarities. They're both pop punk bands. They're both from California scenes that are really close to each other. You have Goldfinger from LA, you got Blink-182 from the San Diego area. Just, there's similarities. They grew up in the same scene, so there's going to be that similarities. And then the last personal thought I have about this, and I know a lot of this was the other type of comments I saw online about this new Goldfinger album and Goldfinger single, and it's big questions that have not really been answered clearly by Goldfinger is, what happened to the other original members? What happened to Darren and the crew? No one really knows. They never really addressed that publicly enough, at least. Maybe something was said on a tweet or something on Twitter or some social media platform like that, something quick, but I don't think there was ever an article released saying that, hey, this is what happened to the other guys. They decided they wanted to move on and do other things because obviously John Feldmann is mainly a writer, producer, and engineer now, so he spends most of his time in the studio. He doesn't spend a lot of time writing Goldfinger records and going on tour. Goldfinger does not tour like they used to. They do small dates here and there sporadically, and you never know when it's going to happen. And obviously, this is the first time they put out brand new music in 9 years. So maybe the other guys in Goldfinger are like, you know what? We can't wait around right now. We're going to go off and do other things. And maybe they're still considered to be in the band, but maybe just not at this given time. But that's the thing. Nobody really knows. Now, maybe there was an article put out about this, and I just happen to miss it. I don't see everything. So if there is an article explaining what happened to all the original members of Goldfinger besides John Feldmann, please contact me and let me know and prove me wrong, but I have not seen anything. So that's one big question I have. But I will say there are people that are complaining about the current lineup, and I definitely have nothing bad to say about the current lineup of Goldfinger. It's nothing but you got superstars in there. You got Mike Herrera of MXPX. You got Phil Sneed of Story of the Year. Really awesome dudes, really amazing musicians, amazing songwriters. And then you have various drummers filling in from other bands, as I mentioned, Cyrus from Newfound Glory, sometimes Travis from Blink-182. I mean, how could you argue with those musicians? Yes, they're not original members, but they're amazing at what they do, and what they bring to the table for Goldfinger only enhances what John Feldmann has written or has planned. So I'm just super stoked about The Knife that comes out July 21st. Maybe it's just because I'm a fanboy of Goldfinger. They're one of my biggest influences of all time. If you go back and you listen to any songs that I've written in my old band, The Projection, you will hear a lot of Goldfinger influence, Mest influence, and Green Day influences. Those were some of the biggest influences in my songwriting, and I'm just an overall music fan of Goldfinger, so this is great. So they got a brand new single out, got a brand new record. Are they going to be touring? Are they going to be promoting this thing everywhere they possibly can? Well, right now, all that we know, I do have a list of current tour dates. I don't foresee Goldfinger going on a huge 40-date tour of the U.S. and then doing a huge UK tour or anything like that. John Feldmann does not have time. He's always busy in the studio, as that's what he does best, and that's what he likes to do best. I've read in different articles that, yes, he loves to go out and be in Goldfinger and play shows here and there, but it's not something he wants to dedicate all of his time to. Hence, like I said, could be the reason why some original members left. But here's the current tour dates that are coming up. They got a show in Italy coming up June 1st. Then they're playing about 3 or 4, no, maybe more than 4 dates of Warped Tour. Let's see, they got 1, 2, 3, they got 5 Warped Tour dates. They're all on the West Coast. So June 16th, they'll be in Seattle for Warped Tour. June 17th, they'll be in Salem, Oregon. Then actually June 22nd, they're going to play Rockfest over in Canada, which I've always wanted to go to that Rockfest. It always looks super, super awesome. It's like the Canadian version of Riot Fest, pretty much, except maybe even better than Riot Fest. I'm not sure. And then they come back August 4th, playing back on Warped Tour again, playing Mountain View, California. Then they'll be in San Diego August 5th. And then August 6th, they close out their last Vans Warped Tour date in Sonoma, California. And then these next tour dates are right in the Midwest. Goldfinger has not played in the Midwest since, I believe, Hello Destiny came out. So that's been almost 9 or 10 years ago. So when I saw that they're going to be playing up in Milwaukee, which I'm near Chicago, I got super, super excited because I haven't seen Goldfinger since I was about 13 years old. So I'm like, you know what? Let's make the trek up to Milwaukee to the rave and see Goldfinger, because who the heck knows when they're going to be back? Will it be another 9 years, 5 years? Will it ever happen again? Now, they haven't announced a Chicago date yet. Just these 2 Midwest dates. You have September 9th at the rave in Milwaukee, and then September 10th, they're playing the Wayback Point Fest down in St. Louis, which is where Phil is from. That's where Story of the Year is from. And it's sponsored by the radio station that Phil actually works for. And I didn't find out that Phil is a radio personality himself until this new album, and I was looking to see what he was up to. And of course, Mike Herrera, you've heard me talk about his podcast here on the show all the time. Check out the Mike Herrera Hour. I've been kind of slacking on listening to his podcast, but I bet in maybe the last couple episodes of his podcast or more, maybe he's talked a little bit about Goldfinger and his new album. So I got to catch up on that and see. So those are the tour dates that Goldfinger has so far. If more get added, I will try to post that on our social media pages, or maybe even talk about it here on Pop Punk and Pizza. But I hope you enjoyed this little mini episode. I just had to rant and talk about one of the bands that I idolize and one of the reasons why I got into pop punk. If you've never, ever listened to Goldfinger, if you couldn't get into them before, maybe this new album is going to be the one for you. So please support Goldfinger. Check out their album called The Knife, which is out July 21st through Rise Records. You can pre-order it now if you go to goldfinger.merchnow.com. And we all look forward to seeing what transpires on the album. And so next, I should mention, the next episode of Pop Punk and Pizza, we will kind of get back to normal, and we will have a special guest. It's going to be my friends in Guardrail from here in Chicago. They're coming by for a special acoustic performance and also to promote their brand new EP, which is called Par at Best. It comes out Friday, June 2nd. It's available for digital download. So be sure to check that out next week here on Pop Punk and Pizza. And please, if you can, reach out to us on our social media pages. Facebook, you can search Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast. Our Twitter is Pop Punk and Pizza Pod. Instagram is Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast. And of course, Bangarang Radio, you can check out our Facebook. Just search Bangarang Radio. And then our Twitter is at Bangarang Radio. And hey, if your band wants to stop by and you want to perform an acoustic set here on the show, please contact me. If you're in the Chicagoland area, or maybe you're on tour, you're driving through the area, shoot me an email, bangarangradio@gmail.com. Shoot me links to your music. If you have an EPK, that's also great as well. So shoot me all that info, bangarangradio@gmail.com. If your band is interested in being a guest on the show, I can't always guarantee that it'll happen, but most of the time it does. And something new that I'm doing lately is having bands come on, do kind of more of a storyteller type podcast, play a song, talk about what that song is about, where you wrote it, kind of thing like that, and then go to the next song, play maybe 3 songs, and maybe even play a cover of a band that you get your main songwriting influence from, just to kind of see where your music comes from. So anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Oh, I do want to give a shout out to one of our listeners. I just talked to her on Twitter. I want to give a shout out to one of our dedicated listeners. Her name's Natasha Gray. I believe it's Natasha Gray. Natasha, thank you so much for listening to the show. We were tweeting back and forth earlier today, and I asked her, well, what do you think of the show? She said she was catching up on episodes, and she said she loves the show, and she can't wait to hear more. So, Natasha, thank you so much for listening to Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast, and I would love to hear from you as well. If you love the show, if you hate the show, if you have something you want to add, something I got wrong, whatever it is, I gave you our social media links. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, I should say my personal Twitter is at On Air with JJ, and that's two of the letter J's, not Jay. So On Air with JJ, and I'd love to talk to you on Twitter as well. You can find me on Facebook too under Jacques Lamour. So thanks again for listening to Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast here on bangarangradio.com. We'll be back next week with Guardrail. I hope you have a great week. Make sure you keep those thoughts positive, because what we think, we become. And of course, chow down on pizza as much as you possibly can.
Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.